Hi, this is Joe Rabil from Rabil Stock Research with your Daily 5. On today's show, I'm going to look at what's taking place in small cap stocks. This area is incredibly important if we want to see a healthy environment and have a broadening of the number of stocks participating in the market up move. I'm going to cover the IWM first, and then I'm going to go through 5 small cap stocks showing really attractive patterns. Let's go ahead and get started here. So I want to look at the IWM, and I want to point something out. As we go back historically, I've worked with a lot of small cap managers over the years, and one of the things I can tell you in my work for them is that we have typically, not always, but typically when you have a period where the small cap universe is outperforming. Now this period here really didn't turn into outperformance, but we're looking for the periods where this kind of kicks into the upside, these breaks of the trend line that gets followed through. And when we see that, it tends to be a really good environment. This lasted an entire year. You see that? A lot of times I see it lasting about 6 to 12 months. So we want to be on the lookout for those stages in the market on a relative basis for the IWM. Now, what's taking place here, I think, is pretty interesting because you can see how this had been bouncing around between support and resistance. And the last time up, it sort of breached this resistance zone, the IWM did. And then instead of coming all the way back down and testing the lows, it's making a significantly higher bottom. And it's holding the 18-month this time. So if you go and you look, it had failed at the 18-month. It crossed the 18-month, but then couldn't hold it on a pullback. And then we rallied up, and now we're holding the 18-month. That's the green line right here. So we've got that in our favor. The other thing that's taking place is, for anyone who's watched my Stock Talk show, you know I look at 1, 2, 3 sequences for a reversal in trend on a price chart. You can do the same thing on a relative basis, and we've formed the 1 and we have formed the 2. Now we just need the 3 to take place and cross up to the upside here. And what I'll tell you is, again, that I think that that'll really improve the overall environment for the marketplace. So if you want to be trading stocks, you want to be investing in other names other than just technology stocks or specific industries that have really been playing well. If you want to start looking for names that are kind of starting to emerge, those areas are going to play a lot better if we can get this IWM to cross above 200. And I'd love to see it cross above on a weekly closing basis and show some strength behind it. I do like the pattern and the way this is developing on a MACD basis on the monthly chart. And then if you notice, the MACD has actually formed a pinch play here with green DI improving and the volume pattern improving. There's a lot of signs here that suggest that we're going to make a up move here. We just need the relative strength to kick in and break out again. And I think that would really improve the overall environment. All right, let's go ahead and get going through some of the individual stocks. Now, this is kind of borderline. I've got 2 that are borderline. It's still considered a small cap, I think. It's just it's around 8 billion market cap. And if you look at the way this is playing out, we've got a move to the downside on the monthly and then a move up, and then we've consolidated back to the 18-month line, which is now rising. Look at what the weekly chart is doing, though. We've got this same pattern where we get a break of the downtrend line, and then we've come back to test, and now we're turning up from there with improving MACD and improving green DI. And look at how strong the volume is. You see the volume off this low? This move here has seen the best volume, consistent volume, not just a single bar, not just a really high bar, but consistent inflow of capital that looks like big money starting to move into. And then look at the volume on the pullback. You see how there's no volume on this pullback? And now we're turning up, making a higher low above these key moving averages. Again, respecting those lines. I think that's really important. Now, one of the things that's missing on this stock, and we're going to need to see, is a trend line break on a relative basis. We want to see this kick in to the upside. And again, I think that'll take place if we can make another new high. We'll get confirmation. So what I like to do when I'm looking at my signals and what I'm trying to find is I like to use momentum, price and momentum to predict when I'm going to see relative improvement. I know a lot of people are looking for the breakout in the relative and then they're buying. I'm trying to anticipate the improvement on a relative basis. This is not that far away from turning up. Now, I mean, if it were really ugly, then that would be a different case. It's not like momentum's going to turn that around. We want to be in a position where the next up leg will turn things around on a relative basis, and I think this is in that position. Now, I am going to bring up a energy stock, even though energy really isn't trading all that well. But this stock has a 7% dividend. It has been holding up really well relative to energy. It has a huge base in place. And any kind of uptick in the energy area, I would think will cause this to break out. And you have the backdrop of this 7%, 7 some odd percent dividend that's also in place with this low ADX condition. So I really like the looks of this. This is holding up well. When a group is going through a tough time, I always look for the ones that are holding up on a relative basis, and this is definitely one of those. All right, let's look at something like MIR in the healthcare area. We're seeing a lot of improvement in healthcare since late last year, and it has followed through into early this year. Look at the way this is playing out on this weekly chart. We had this sideways consolidation pattern, and now we're getting real buying showing up. Lots of strength here, and it's being incorporated in and confirmed by what's taking place in the ADX and the MACD. And we're getting a pullback towards the breakout area now. And this looks like a really healthy pullback. Notice the volume pattern was good on the way up, abnormal, greater than the average line, right? And then we've got this 3 to 4 week pullback, and it's at really light volume. So this is what we're looking for on basically overall. Now we're also getting the daily to pull back and correct and form an opposing trend to the weekly trend, which is up. So these lines are going up, and this line is starting to work down. That is what we're looking for. It kind of gives us proof that we've consolidated or corrected enough where we can start to look at it again. It really helps with your timing. So we want to look for this to come back up through this downtrend line, especially based on the fact that the MACD is back to the zero line and ADX has now gotten back under 25. Okay, let's look at MC. So this is in the finance area. Again, look at what's taking place here. Look at the size of this turn that's developing. The 18-month was declining, and now it's turning to the upside. MACD is clearly getting back above the zero line. Look at this weekly chart, though. We've had this nice, pretty tight consolidation pattern working sideways, and then we get this really strong breakout pattern, and we get strong confirmation where green DI actually breaks out above all these highs, and we get our 3 to 4 bar pullback where MACD is holding the signal line. So we've got a lot of interesting things developing here, and now we're starting to form a higher low where we're taking out the prior bar's low and trying to close above the low bar of the pullback. So we've got, I think, something that's really looks like it's set up after breaking out of a low ADX condition. So low ADX condition is when we spend a significant amount of time where this blue line spends a lot of time below 25, preferably where it's below both of the green and the red DI lines as well. But in this case, we've spent a decent amount of time working sideways, and now we're starting to emerge, and ADX is starting to emerge as well. Let's look at this Ralph Lauren. Same concept. Look at the monthly breakout. See this breakout we've got going here? This is a big base that's formed. Now, it tried to move up here, but then it couldn't really hold, and it worked its way back down. It undercut the lows, then made a nice strong move to the upside, and now is doing sort of a mini version of what took place here, consolidating back, and now we're breaking out from a much tighter pattern. And I think, again, look at the position that we've got a MACD in. We've got green DI, the buyers in control. If we go to the weekly chart, we've broken out of this area. And again, we've got the same pattern. Strength here, strength here. Look at the volume pattern. Strength to the upside. The pullback has less than normal volume. And we're back to kind of where we started this move. So another one to kind of be watching for, be watching pretty closely as we sit here in this area. I hope you enjoyed this segment. You can contact me through LinkedIn or X or find my research on rabilstockresearch.com. In addition, if you'd like to learn more about trend, MACD, and ADX in multiple timeframes, I am offering my book in a PDF format at a discount right now. You can go to rabilstockresearch.com/book for more information. Have a great trading day, and we'll see you next time.